Hello, Namaste, and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani. Help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic astrology. And we are again into another live session, Friday live session, where we will discuss about the transit of Jupiter in Aries for all the ascendants. You guys know I'm not a big fan of transit videos because dashas are more important. Yoga dasha nakshatra is more important than the transit videos. But many of you ask me about the transit video, so I'm just making it's late, but still I'm making this. So let's get started. Okay, I hope you guys are able to hear me properly. Can you just put that into the comment section if you're able to hear me? Okay, great. So now let's start with yes, we can hear. Great. Welcome all of you, and let's get started with Jupiter into the sign of Aries. Whenever we are judging any transit, we can't judge it with an isolation. What do I mean by that? Whenever we judge Jupiter transit, we also have to consider the Rahu and Saturn. Rahu's Jupiter and Saturn, these three are important transit. You should definitely follow these transits on a bigger picture. You should know where is Jupiter, where is Rahu, where is Saturn. But I won't recommend you to follow, what is a daily transit of moon, what is happening with Mercury, Venus, and the planets, the fast moving planets. You should not focus it on the fast moving planet. You should focus on the slow moving planet, because slow moving planet have more impact, deeper impact. Okay, let's say example, Uranus is even more impacts a generation. Okay, but we only consider the seven visible planets. So we are talking about Jupiter today. So what happens when Jupiter comes into the Aries? Aries is the first sign. Okay, but the planet of wisdom, the planet of optimism comes into the sign of self. Okay, so wherever you have Aries sign in your birth chart, depending upon any of your lagna, okay, so you will have blessings, you will have abundance, you will have optimism into that area of life. For example, let's say you are Aries ascendant, and Jupiter goes into the going through the first house. Okay, but the next thing you have to see is the lordship of the planet. So when for Aries ascendant, Jupiter rules the ninth house and the 12th house, one trine, one dishtana, and it goes into the first house. So it activates. Let me see if I can open the Aries ascendant for you. Right. So you would see that Jupiter is ruling the ninth and the 12th. Ninth house is the house of spirituality, religious things, and 12th house is house of moksha, isolation, and spiritual things as well. And Jupiter is the planet of wisdom, and that is going into the first house. So what it does is it is going to change your outlook towards spirituality, towards God. Okay, you may not care for God earlier, but when Jupiter came into the first house, suddenly now you feel drawn towards God, drawn towards all the occult and spiritual things. More than occult, it's spiritual, the ninth house, it's not the eighth house. Okay. And you will also see that this is the first level of analysis. These are the houses which will get activated for Aries ascendant. Okay. In the next level, you would see that this Jupiter is associated and conjunct with Rahu. So now this Rahu is in the first house. In the conjunction of Jupiter, it creates a Chandala yoga. When Jupiter conjunct with Rahu and conjunct with Ketu, it is called as Chandala yoga. The name is scary, but what it shows is it brings it brings down the positivity of the Jupiter. Why? Because the nodes are asuras. But in my opinion, in my experience, this Jupiter has the ability to guide this Rahu better. You will find new age gurus with this technology, with this conjunction, not technology, with this conjunction, right? So these are the people who will be teaching other people when Rahu and Jupiter is conjunct in in any place, in any lagna, any house. I love this conjunction. Whenever I see Jupiter Rahu conjunction or Jupiter Ketu conjunction, I love that conjunction because now Jupiter has the conjunction of expansive Rahu, and it controls that Rahu. It guides that Rahu. It's like one Asura is getting the guidance from Jupiter on the right path, not on the bad path. Okay. But if you look at the Rahu, apart from Rahu and Jupiter, the next level of analysis, you would see that Saturn is also aspecting this Jupiter Rahu from the third house, with the third house aspect from the 11th house. Saturn is in its own nakshatra, is in its own sign, and is aspecting this conjunction. So whenever Saturn is aspecting any planet, it brings out the past life karma. It activates certain karmas around those houses. Okay. And this situation would be true for all the ascendants, because Rahu and Jupiter will be conjunct throughout this period for all the ascendants. We are just going to change the ascendant. We are not going to change the Rashi of Rahu or Jupiter for that matter. And Saturn will also be there. Remember, we talked about at the beginning of this session that Rahu, Jupiter, and Saturn, these three are important transit. And you would see that out of these three, Rahu and Jupiter conjunct, and Saturn is aspecting this conjunction. So now, this Jupiter and Rahu, the guidance of Jupiter to the Rahu is under the scrutiny and the audit of Saturn. It makes them work towards the guidance received from the Jupiter. Okay. Now this is true for all the aspects. Okay. So if you have any questions, please share your questions into the comment section around this. Otherwise we'll move. If you have any questions, please share so that uh, I'll be able to answer them. I'm waiting for your questions if you have any. My Mars first house in Tula Lagna. Yeah, I'm asking you if you have any questions around this uh, transit for Aries ascendant. If you have any question, please share. Okay, so what ascendant we should discuss next? Please put that into the comment section. Which one you want me to discuss? We are going to discuss all of them, but I want you to, just put any ascendant so that you won't be, so Pisces ascendant people won't be, get bored. Okay, so yeah, I want more of you. Sagittarius, Aquarius, Leo, Cancer. I want more. I'm just getting one of them. Gemini. Oh, it's all are different. Yeah, I want more. I want you to participate into this session. Otherwise, it is boring. It's just me talking about this. Makes no sense. Okay, I want you to involve into this session, ask questions. Aries ascendant we discussed, right? Akshat Sharma. Yeah. Just put your ascendant once. Don't spam, please. So I see Tula, Sagittarius, Aquarius, Leo, Cancer, Libra, Sagittarius, Gemini, Libra, and my Jupiter is already in Aries in Lagna chart. Okay, I think it's Libra. Let's start with Libra. Okay, so Libra would be a mirror image to Aries, right? So for Libra ascendant, Jupiter is ruling the third and the sixth house, and is conjunct Rahu into the seventh house, and Saturn is aspecting this from the fifth house. Okay, so now this Jupiter is aspecting the ascendant and is associated with this ascendant as well. And this Saturn in the fifth house, Saturn in the fifth house is all about responsibilities in love. Fifth house is the house of love, and Saturn is the planet of responsibility. So you will feel responsible towards your loved one. You will feel burdened towards your loved one. Or this could also mean, this Saturn is aspecting the seventh house as well, where Jupiter and Rahu is conjunct. So Jupiter in the seventh house is about partner who is orthodox. The planet of wisdom comes into the seventh house of marriage. It is also about the finances and business. So it would also help you to start some business as well. Seventh house is also about your social status. And now Rahu into the seventh house will bring and will present you as an authority into your social world. Okay, so again, if you look at this, the sequence is same. Saturn, Jupiter and Rahu is conjunct wherever Aries sign is, depending upon your ascendant. And now Saturn is also there. So Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu is fixed. That Saturn is aspecting Jupiter, Rahu. And in Libra, it's just that it is into the seventh house. And seventh house, whenever seventh house Rahu is connected with the seventh house, it also shows connection with the foreign person as well. It need not be a partner or a romantic relationship, but it also means some kind of ending as well. It also means traveling. Seventh house is also the house of travel and end. Okay, ascendant is the beginning, the sunrise, and seventh house is the sunset. It's always about the other side. It's always about travel. It's always about the endings. That's what Libra, or that's what the seventh house is. Okay, so Jupiter in the seventh house is all about protection. Jupiter in the seventh house protects you. Even if you have any, uh, even if you have any challenges in your life right now, indicated by dasha or other yogas, this transit will give you relief. This transit will give you protection. Okay, this is a very good transit to have, and it also increases your ability to connect with other people. It expands your networking. It expands your partnership. Okay. Yes. Now let's take the Scorpio ascendant. Yes. For Scorpio ascendant, Saturn, for Scorpio ascendant, Jupiter is ruling the second house and is ruling the fifth house. Both these are the house of finances. And sixth house is also the house of your daily routine, is also the house of loan, is also the house of arguments, house of delays, frustration, and routine work. That's what sixth house is. And when Jupiter comes into the sixth house, this shows that the second house, the second lord goes into the sixth house. Both these houses are the Arthur trine houses. They does great into these houses. Like the Jupiter will be into the same element. So when Jupiter goes into the Aries sign, what happens is people always tend to become self invested. They think whatever they say is right, because the planet of positivity, expansion, wisdom, that is knowing things, comes into the first house, first sign. So yes, these people become bit adamant on what they want to say. In a way, it's good. It's always good to have a conviction about what you say. But when Jupiter comes into Aries, it's like it's only what I have to say. There is there is a lack of understanding towards the opinion of others. Okay, so this was Scorpio, and now Saturn is also aspecting it from the fourth house to the sixth house. So it shows delays with the delays related to the finances. It also shows some emotional burden in your daily routine. Okay. And when Rahu is in here, it increases your cash flow, it increases the money in your hand, but at the same time, you should not give it away to others. You should not give that money to others. Otherwise, it's not going to come back. Now, let's talk about the next ascendant. What is the next ascendant you want me to discuss? So let's discuss about Taurus. Taurus is, again, Taurus is the mirror of the Scorpio. And you would see that Saturn is in the 10th house of karma, aspecting this Saturn Jupiter Rahu conjunction into the 12th house. Now, Jupiter in the 12th house shows your expansion. Jupiter also shows your travel. So it also shows that you would travel to the foreign lands, or you would be connected to the mentors from the foreign lands, because Rahu is also about foreign things. 12th house is about the uh, farthest places, and Jupiter is also about the expansion. So you would feel you want to explore the world, you want to go out of your comfort zone, you want to go away from your birthplace to learn something. Okay, it would really make you work for foreign clients, maybe, or foreign authorities, because 10th house Saturn is aspecting the 12th house Jupiter Rahu, Aries. Okay, and one of the thing about this is, whenever we are judging this transit, first thing, we look at the houses which are getting triggered, which are getting activated by the lordship. Then next thing we are going to see is the placement of this transit, from which houses it is going. And then, most importantly, if you have any planet placed into your birth chart into that house, it also impacts into the overall interpretation of that planet. For example, let's say you have some planet, let's say you have your natal Venus into the Aries, and now you have Jupiter Rahu into the Aries sign. So your interpretation would be far different than, let's say, someone who has Sun there, and now Jupiter and Rahu are transiting over it. Or let's say your Atmakaraka is Sun, and this Aries and is in Aries exalted, and now that Jupiter Rahu is going over that. So you will not feel this 12th house things. You will feel more about the self. You will feel more about the uh, self esteem. So this is why it gets complicated, and there is no one line answer to this. And you may feel like, I listen to this, but this is not me. It doesn't feel like it's me right now. This is because there are these things we are not touched upon, the nakshatras, right? You also have to see the nakshatra. But even if you could learn these basic things, it would really help you to go through this. Okay, now let's look at the next nakshatra. Which nakshatra you want, which ascendant you want me to discuss? So which ascendant you want me to do? Sagittarius, Cancer? Sagittarius, I think Sagittarius. Oh, Sagittarius, yeah, would do Sagittarius. Let's do that. Right. Now, for Sagittarius, this is interesting because it is also ruling, Jupiter is ruling this Lagna, and now this Jupiter is going into one of the trine, one of the one of the Trikon houses, the fifth house, and is conjunct with Rahu. So what it shows is, it shows that you will have some ups and downs in your career, and it also shows some, it also trigger or spark some romantic relationship as well, because whenever I see the fifth house connected with the Rahu, the the fifth house is the house of love and romance, and Rahu is all about obsession. But this obsession is now guided by the Jupiter. So you would be looking for more stable partnership rather than just looking for some casual connections. Apart from that, this Saturn is also aspecting The third lord is also aspecting this ascendant. So what it shows is it will make you work. So this transit will make you work towards your career as well as your relationship. Career? Why career? What it has to do with career? See, fifth house is eighth from the 10th. So the ups and downs in career can be seen with the fifth house. And now if you look at the third house is sixth from the 10th. And now that is that is where Saturn is placed in. So this Saturn in the sixth house will bring in more authority for you in your career. And this Jupiter in the eighth house and Rahu in the eighth house will make you work towards yourself, will make you work towards your profession. Okay. Now, which planets are placed into your Aquarius and Aries and Aquarius and Aries is more important because apart from the Lagna Lord, Jupiter also becomes the fourth Lord. Fourth house is the house of your home, is also the house of your home environment and emotional. This is the foundational house. And now there is a shaky planet like a Rahu connected with it in the trinal house, which is the house of self. Now you would know more about this. This is not just about Jupiter in Aries now. It's not just Jupiter in Aries anymore. It has become much more than that. And this is how you look at the transit. And then you would know little bit about what's happening in your chart. Okay? Now, so I think this is clear for all of you. If you have any question around this Lagna or this placement, please share. Happy to help. Anna is saying, I have natal Saturn in the fifth house in Aries. Yes. Then for you, it is, for this Saturn is aspecting this Saturn by third house, and it is also this Jupiter is going over your Saturn. So this Saturn in Aries is getting the blessings of the Jupiter. And you will experience that into the fifth house. Fifth house things. What sign we are on? We are on Sagittarius. Yeah. So what next? Let's check the Cancer ascendant. Now you would see this. Now what you would see, Saturn is transiting the 8th house and Jupiter and Rahu in the 10th house. Amazing. This is a placement, any transit through the 10th house is welcome. And for Cancer, Jupiter is ruling the 6th house and the 9th house. 6th house, you might think, oh, this is the house of obstacles and all the challenging and difficult things in life. And 9th house is also the house of your fortune. So these two houses are ruled by Jupiter. And now that Jupiter is going through the 10th house of your career. Now this is the time where you might think or feel optimistic about work, and you will get good opportunities no matter how much you have worked, what is your age, it doesn't matter, but you would be drawn towards working. The 10th house is the house of work, and now that gets triggered, and it is also triggering the 6th house of daily routines. So it will make you feel that you want to take a day job. you want to work somewhere, you feel like you want to go out in the public and work. And even if you are an introvert, no matter what inhibitions or fears you have around that, this Jupiter in the 10th house will bring in that positivity into your work life. Okay, Jupiter in the 10th house is a blessing for your reputation as well. This will make you, like, people will respect you more. And when Saturn is aspecting this 10th house, you feel that discipline and order into your work. Maybe you have taken few years gap in your work profession, and now you want to make a comeback. Now you want to start all over again. Or maybe you take a break because of kids, and now you want to come back and start working again. Now you will feel more focused, you will feel more driven and disciplined to bring in that order into your professional life. And that's what this combination of Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu into the 10th house. The Rahu in the 10th house is excellent for profession. Okay. Now, what it does with Ketu in the 4th house is a different story. But when it comes to the 10th house, Rahu has the ability to create its own world. 10th house is the house of the open sky, things we can see clearly. So the planet of confusion comes into the house of full horizon. Like, we can see things clearly in the 10th house, up in the sky. Now, Rahu loves clarity. He doesn't have it because of that foggy nature, decisive nature, but now through the house, he gets the clarity. And now he operates with full enthusiasm and energy to bring in the best out of him. And Jupiter helps him to be on the right path and bring best out of him. Okay, so this was Cancer. What is the next? What is the next ascendant? Virgo ascendant. Let's take Virgo ascendant. Great. So for Virgo, you would see for Virgo ascendant, you would see Jupiter is ruling the 7th house and the 4th house, both the Kendra houses, and is conjunct the Rahu in the 8th house, and Saturn is in the 6th house. Okay, 6th house, 6th house Saturn is very good. Okay, you won't believe that. Go and watch my video about Saturn in the 6th house. I love that placement. What it does is it aspects the 8th house, aspects the 12th house, aspects the 3rd house. And wherever Saturn aspects, it slows down. What are the houses he's slowing down? 8th house of death, 12th house of loss, 3rd house of, you know, the restriction, the obstacles, right? So he is helping you. So Saturn in the 6th house, Jupiter in the 8th house, Rahu in the 8th house. So what it shows is you will have huge gains in your career. What? Yes. 8th house is 11th from the 10th. Okay. But 11th house, 11th house to the 10th house. But in ascendant, it is the 8th house. So it has the qualities of ups and downs, transformation, and at the same time it gives the great gains by being 11th to the 10th house. Okay, so I love this placement, and the placement of Saturn aspecting this adds more to it. Okay, and this Rahu in the 8th house brings in a lot of secretive nature. So you will have a lot of secretive uh, connections. You might feel you want to be on your own. You don't want to connect with other people. You just want to hide from other people. That's what it does in the eighth house, Rahu. Freaking awesome. Usually I don't follow transit much, but during this Jupiter transit, I felt the need of communicating some friends after a long time, as it is transiting my 11th house. In oh yeah, we'll discuss about that. Let's take the Gemini ascendant. I think we did that, right? We did Gemini. Can you just put that into the comment section? Uh, have we covered Gemini ascendant? We did 1, 7, 2, 8, 6, 4, 2. Can you just put this into the comment section if you have covered the Gemini ascendant or not? I just forgot that. Okay, so let's look at the Leo ascendant meanwhile. Mm, Now here, you know, another interesting thing. Now Saturn is in the seventh house, aspecting the ascendant. Jupiter is in the ninth house, which is also aspecting the ascendant. And if you consider the Rahu's aspect, it is also aspecting the Jupiter's. Uh, it is also aspecting the first house. So what it shows is Jupiter is in its own element. Jupiter is in the ninth house. Jupiter loves to be in the ninth house. And Rahu in the ninth house is all about you will have to work on your faith. During this transit, it will make you work on your faith because Saturn is also aspecting, and Saturn is all about distrust. Saturn never believes anything. I think Gemini was not covered. Okay, we'll cover that right after this. And any other Lagna we have missed, just put that into the comment section. Now, for Leo ascendant, this Jupiter is aspecting ascendant, Saturn is aspecting ascendant. We're talking about the Saturn's aspect on this ninth house of faith and belief. Saturn doesn't believe things. Saturn is about doubt. Saturn is like a scientist. He doesn't believe in anything. He just believes in himself and the real things he can see in front. Okay. So this Saturn aspecting this Rahu will bring a lot of faith related issues will bring it to the surface. You will have to work on your faith. It's like suddenly you would start feeling, do I believe in God? Do I believe in spirituality? And all kinds of questions will come to your mind and you will seek answer to this. You won't trust it, but the process will begin. You would start making the progress towards your faith. Okay, this is interesting. And again, Rahu Jupiter Chandal Yoga. You will hear a lot of things about this, a lot of bad things about this, but trust me, I think this is also one of the most magnetic personality. If you have Jupiter and Rahu into your birth chart, okay, it makes you attractive. So yes, let's go towards the Gemini now. Let's go to the Gemini. I think we are just left with Aquarius and Pisces now after this. Okay, now let's look at the Gemini ascendant. What is beautiful about Gemini ascendant is, if you look at all the Dushtana houses, they're not the own houses of the Rashis. Like, if you look at the sixth house, this is ruled by Mars, but this is not a Mool Trikon of Mars. Eighth house is Saturn, which is Capricorn, but this is not a Mool Trikon sign of Saturn. And 12th house is Venus, Taurus, but this is not the Mool Trikon sign of Venus. And that's why Gemini is a very interesting lagna, which has hardly any negative planets. When we discuss about the temporary benefits, natural benefits, combined benefits, that's when these things come. But they don't have any negative planets. Like, we can't say, oh, Saturn is bad for this, Venus is bad for it because it is ruling the 12th house. No, if you look at the Venus is ruling the 12th house, but it's also ruling the 5th house, the trinal house. And there are certain rules, we'll discuss that. There are certain rules when we have a planet is ruling Dushtana and a good house, how to judge that house. Anyway, let's talk about the Gemini. For Gemini, Jupiter is into the 11th house and Rahu is also into the 11th house. Now, this is about obsession about the 11th house. 11th house is the house of gains, and more so, it is the house of networking, and Rahu is the planet of foreign things. So you would find that you would be drawn towards the spiritual organizations from the foreign things, from the foreign land. Or maybe you would have some mentors. Jupiter is guru, Rahu is foreign, 11th is spiritual organizations. So you might find a guru from the foreign lands, which will help you to build that trust. But again, this Jupiter and Rahu won't allow you to daydream in any of the houses, because Jupiter has the problem with the Jupiter is it it can make you daydream. It is positive, but sometimes it's over optimistic, and he can't even look at the things in front of him, right? So it also makes him uh, daydreamer. Now, when Saturn is aspecting this Jupiter, now he's grounded. Now he's not bothered. Now he's not carried away by the optimism of Jupiter, or the foggy, tricky nature of the Rahu won't trick these Jupiter into like overestimating things or daydreaming, right? Now this is beautiful placement. I think someone, yeah, this guy, yeah, freaking awesome. Yeah, you would read. Everybody should read this. I don't follow transit much, but during this Jupiter transit, I felt the need of communicating some friends after a long time, as it is transiting my 11th. Yeah, it does. This is how it works. Okay, so yeah, so this Saturn in the ninth house, transiting through the ninth house, also make you work towards a long duration project. It will make you work on that PhD, work on that topic which needs a lot of research, and you are avoiding it because it's too much work. Now this Saturn will make you work towards that. Okay, but yes, this Saturn is continuously keeping an hold and audit on that Jupiter Rahu conjunction, that Chandal yoga. It's good. I love that. Okay, now let's go towards the Pisces ascendant. Now for Pisces ascendant, you would see that Pisces ascendant. For Pisces ascendant, you would see this Jupiter is in the second house of finances, and Rahu is also into the second house of finances. So what it does is it it makes you work towards the finances. It also helps you to think about finances. You become connected with the finances. Okay, so this positivity and abundance of finance will help you to get ahead in life, and someone will give you money, someone will give you something valuable, because second house is the house of things you value. But at the same time, it is aspected by the Saturn from the 12th house, so it can also bring in unnecessary expenditure, or it also restrict the finances, or it will also restrict your expenditure on unnecessary things. Okay, so yeah, this is a good transit for Pisces ascendant. Now let's talk about, I think we covered all this. Did Have we covered all the ascendants? Which ascendant we need to cover? We talked about Aries, Taurus, all the ascendants, right? Okay, so guys, if you have any question, please share your questions. Would happy to help you. If you have any questions, or if you want to share your queries, you want me to answer that, you can ask your question here. And if you don't have any question, we will close this session now. Okay, so yes, this was Jupiter in Aries for all the ascendant, as much as I could hold grasp and share with you guys. If you want to learn Vedic astrology, I'm going to start a new course on career. So if you want to join that, wait for my check out my website as well. Okay, so yes, see you in the next videos. Love and peace. Namaste.